Mic on.
Okay, I'm gonna go live now, Millennial.
Cool.
Mic off. Mic on.
Okay. All right. So, hi. If you've this is the first live stream I've ever done for this type of subject. If you guys don't know me, my name is RedemptionTrades. I'm a former proprietary trader, institutional trader, and stuff like that. Whatever you guys want to call it. I never worked for a hedge fund or anything like that. I do have the disclaimer, as you guys read before as well, and I really have to nail that thing home. But anything you hear, either through me or anybody that comes into the channel in Discord or anything like that, it's all purely opinion based. It is not financial information or advice, and it is certainly not tailored to you. You must go find your own financial advisor. And I wanted to not talk about this today, but unfortunately I set the date and I didn't realize it was the same date that Coinbase actually IPO'd. So yeah, let's dig into this mess. So market just closed, and it did open. Originally, the IPO price was for 250, but it opened up at 380. We jumped all the way up to 430, and then we closed at 330. So what went wrong? And from my personal opinion, it's mostly just the hype. When you have an IPO that's this hyped, the last one I can think of was Alibaba, and Alibaba came out a couple tens of dollars over whatever the original IPO was, but it still had room to run. But that's also when people were not really didn't care too much about the market, and they really didn't pay too much attention to it. But now it's like, okay, well, I want to get on this because this is going to be the next GME, or this is going to be the next AMC. This is going to make me rich and all that sort of stuff. These are certain oddities in the market. Like an IPO like Coinbase doesn't happen every single day. Yeah, so and the nuance with Coinbase was, from what I remember, because no one could really give me a straight answer whether it was like a direct listing or an IPO listing. And I think it was more so an IPO listing rather than a direct. But the difference is mainly being, if it's an IPO listing, they'll essentially distribute shares beforehand, and there is a like a kind of a lock off to where they can't sell any shares. So typically you won't see an IPO drop too much. You'll see it drop a little bit, but not too much, right? But when it comes to a direct listing, there is no lockup agreement, and they can dump their shares like day one, minute one, as soon as the market opens. I think that's what kind of happened with Coinbase, but I don't know. No one seems to give me a straight answer whether it's a direct listing or it's an IPO. Everybody makes their case for either or. It's up to you to make up your own decisions and why, right? But yeah, so let's look to see what people are saying on StockTwits right now. Not sure if people are manipulating. Simply look at the graph for the last 2 months. Actually, you know what I'm surprised about that no one said so far that I keep getting? And if you guys have watched my previous videos, if you haven't, please go watch them. But a lot of people talk about short selling and short attacks and ladder attacks, whatever the crazy new terms for it are nowadays. But you guys gotta know that these short interest things and stuff like that, they're 2 weeks delayed. I keep telling everybody it's 2 weeks delayed. Look at the FINRA Reg Show guidelines. They'll give you a date breaking. Like here, I'll look it up right here. So you look up FINRA Reg Show, let's say NASDAQ. All right, so there's a daily but there's also an official one. Let's see. Oh wait, hang on. Short interest NASDAQ. Let's see. Short interest NASDAQ schedule. Everything I do here is like stuff that you can see through the videos, but essentially today is April 14th. So there's going to be a settlement date tomorrow, and then the due date is on the 19th, and then we don't get that information of what they settle upon on tomorrow until the 26th. So that's until after market on the 26th. So that's like a 2-week delay, and that goes for the NYSE as well. There is a daily short interest, but again, like this is kind of like an honor system to where they don't actually have to tell the truth or anything like that. But anyways, like that's just no here nor there. But let's see what else other people are saying about coin. Expecting a huge drop tomorrow. I don't disagree with you. Bears, you are losing your time. Great company, 400 plus, even if not in. Again, you can't short this thing. There is no shares available right now. You cannot short this thing right now. It's not possible. Like they haven't even settled the trades yet. So the fact that people think that people can short this thing right now is absolutely absurd. Let's see. I honestly don't. Like, I'm honestly so baffled how people don't see this as overvalued and simply inflated due to hype, and idiots buying it. Okay, here's the thing. I don't hate Coinbase, and that's something I want to tell you guys. I don't hate Coinbase. The thing with Coinbase is that it is the first of its kind. Look at Beyond Meat. Everybody's like, oh, no one's going to eat this garbage meat or anything like that, right? Let's look at. See, it went down as low as $50 last I saw, but let's see. Actually, I have a window open. Let me see. Okay, let's look at Beyond Meat. This is Beyond Meat. This was $50 when people said no one would eat this, blah blah blah. There's no other competition. Nobody is competing against Beyond Meat right now. They are the only like fake meat people at the time. I'm pretty sure there's other ones that one of the guests you guys might see is Millennial, but this thing was butchered previously, especially when the lockup happened. God, where was it? Hang on, let me go back out to a month. This thing was absolutely butchered. Now, yeah, here we go. So this thing was butchered back in March 2020. Look at it now. It's basically.
What are we talking?
Sorry,
Beyond Meat.
I'm talking about Beyond Meat and how like this comment over here saying this guy says he's baffled by how many people don't see this as overvalued and simply inflated due to the hype and idiots buying it, right? But the thing with it is, and this is my argument for it, is look at Beyond Meat. Everybody's just like, oh, no one's going to eat this fake meat or anything like that, right? But Beyond Meat's the only one in its market. There's how many other, like, go ahead, try to name one other company right now that is trading like this that is trading right now in a North American market that produces synthetic meat or synthetic type of food?
I can, but I've studied it, so
Yeah.
that's cheating. But
I already know the fish one that you're thinking of, but
yeah, AQB is similar, but it's not just AQB because you got Tattooed Chef that's similar. You've got even Tyson to
but
many
Tyson's more
extents.
actual food than actually like lab grown
Right,
stuff.
but they have they own something in one of the emerging pseudo meat companies.
But anyways, so like my argument for this is similar to what Beyond Meat is back almost a year ago, is that they're the only fake meat company. They're popular, and that's the same argument I would make for Coinbase, which is surprised because like I'm surprised because I'm very anti Bitcoin right now, right? Just because of the ease of use of it. But the reason I'd say I would argue for that it's actually like going to be a powerhouse is because it's a mainstay name in the crypto space, and that it's the only one that's like technically traded in the crypto transaction stuff, which again, like you've heard me before, like I made an argument for Overstock a while ago, right? Because they acquired Trade Zero, but Overstock's not like solely focused on the crypto aspect. That's just one aspect of them, right? This one is a more focused aspect, and that's something I like about it. Yeah. I looked through their balance sheets and everything. They make money. Like there's a lot of money in this, and them being like a middleman, there's a lot of money involved. Like Citadel, for example. A lot of people learned about Citadel recently because of that whole GME incident, but Citadel makes stupid amounts of money because they are essentially a liquidity provider. They're the guys who go in between, and I think that Coinbase could be as big or even bigger than what Citadel is, because the problem with, again, stock trading is that there's such a high bar to entry. Like you're not going to get someone from like Kenya to trade on the New York Stock Exchange just because like the Kenyan dollar or whatever, right? He's not going to be able to buy a single share of anything to actually even make it worth his while. But like, crypto is very easily accessible for him. He can actually do a lot, and we did some research into that as well. I don't fully remember, but you mentioned something about like how the Kenyan bank was actually taking a large interest in crypto.
Well, Africa is a continent because so many of their economies have been so badly beaten down by either inflation or hyperinflation that they are looking at just using crypto because now they've got an opportunity to just grab this appreciating currency that's going to be used globally, and you don't need to have $1 trillion Zimbabwe dollars to make that happen, right?
Yeah. Also, if anybody in the chat wants to, like, I am keeping an eye on the chat, so if you guys want to ask a question, either me or the other guy on the mic here is Millennial Motivator. He is, oh god, how would I describe you?
I do what I want.
He's a guy I hang out with.
We look at the insanity that is the market and play it, and I do a bunch of other stuff. But I mean, with Coinbase, it for me, it's got a real edge to it. First to market does not mean best to market. It is a moat for sure that they're first to market, but there are a lot of other exchanges out there, and there's nothing really proprietary about Coinbase that prevents somebody from coming in like a Schwab or a Morgan Stanley and saying, yeah, we can do the same thing. Sure. No problem.
See, I'm reading this comment here where it's like, Coin disappointed in this company. Poor move going public for the crypto community. I was weary at first and thought it would bring more popularity to crypto. Instead, this crashed the crypto market as soon as it went public. as soon as it went public for sale and continued to fall in price too. Joke stock, possibly a scam. I mean, honestly, I would, if you asked me 10 years ago, I'd be inclined to agree with him, but it's become such a powerhouse for like just their own sort of like financial system that it's hard to ignore it now.
Yeah. What are you looking at here? This is StockTwits?
Yeah, I'm just reading the feed for StockTwits on Coinbase right now.
Shitcoin. See, and I think that some of the problem with this is there's a gross misunderstanding of what this is even. Because I have seen a lot of that narrative, like, why would you buy this instead of Bitcoin? It's like, this isn't this isn't a new coin, right? Like, this isn't a coin coming to market. I'm baffled why that narrative is here at all, but okay. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I love this comment here. This is a $50 stock, totally illegal. Government should investigate all new IPO. Yeah, here's the thing. Like, everybody keeps thinking that short sellers are bad. You know what? This would be a $50 stock. I don't disagree. I think it could be actually lower. However, because we villainize short sellers so much, you're gonna have to pay a premium. You're gonna have to pay $380 and then walk away with $330. That's just the skinny of it. Like, short sellers have a time and place. That's something that people don't realize. They just see something bad temporarily in the moment and think that it's globally bad, and that's not true. There is essentially, and I keep trying to explain it to people who don't care, but like, the market's kind of like an ecosystem. There is a place for someone in that place. There's a place for like HFTs. There's a place for liquidity providers. There's a place for investors. There's a place for like so many different types of styles and or ways to make money. Like, I don't think I told you this story before, but there was a guy, you would never guess how he made his money, because it sounded like, for the most part, when the first time I heard about a hedge fund, right, I didn't understand what a hedge fund was. I was like, how do you make money? So if you're going long and short at the same time, how do you make money, right? Well, if you're like Steve Eisman, you can alpha hedge, which means that, when the market goes down and it takes your stock with it, he will take profit on the short side and then add it to his long side, so that, because he knows that these are solid companies and they'll eventually come back, right? And then when they go back up, he basically reweights his hedge over again. That's one way. Now, the other style was this more independent dude. This one dude, it was the smartest thing I've ever seen, but what he would do is he would find interlisted stocks. So like Canada and the US, for example, right? Like, let's say ACB, for example. And what he would do is he'd go on the Canadian exchange. And since there's like a 30% premium on the Canadian dollar, he'll buy like 30% more in the Canadian side. But so he'll buy like, let's say 10,000 shares in the US market on ACB. And then he'll simultaneously short whatever the equal weight is for 13,000 shares on the TSX market, right? And you'll be like, why would he do that? You're not going to make any money if it goes up or down, right? Here's the trick to it. He would call the brokerage and he would call, get to the floor specialist. Like, he was so like, this is his thing, that he got like the number to the floor specialist and say like, hey, Mr. Floor Specialist, I have like 10,000 shares of this thing. Most of the time it should be more because they're not going to take like 10K or something like that, but let's just use 10K. So he'll call the floor specialist and say like, hey, I have ACB at this price. I have 10,000 shares. What can you do for me, right? And let's say ACB is at 10. He'll be like, okay, cool. I can give you 1003. He's like, okay, cool. All right. And then he'll pick up his phone. Like, there's ways to optimize it, but then he'll be like, okay, cool. Do it. Done. He secures that trade and then he closes his other side. He just made 3 cents off of 10,000 shares. That's more than a day's work. Like, that's just like, you can literally do that and go do your other job, right? So that's $300 there in your pocket, and you just do this over and over and over again. There's ways to optimize it, like I said, where like, you can call up another broker on the other side or another floor specialist on the other exchange to do like another closing. So like, he'll give you 2 cent premium, and the North America the NYSE guy will give you like a 3 cent, so 5 cents off of 23,000 shares. Like, it doesn't sound like a lot, but like, you do that over and over again, it's easy money. However, not a lot of people know about that, and not a lot of people are willing to like put in the time to learn stuff like that. But just very interesting stories, very interesting ways to like actually make money. Let's see what else. I'm kind of tired of looking at coin. I'm just gonna look at it for another like couple of minutes or so. I don't plan on going live for very long, but here's another argument. Sorry.
Yeah, I suppose there would be a lot of narrative of like, why not Mara? Why not Riot? Why not, like something that.
Like there's oops. Coin hedges can't affect the coin token price as much as they do with normal stocks. Shorts be warned. This is a two-horn bull. Can't stop the future. Bag holders, you call us. We'll be laughing in the end. Honestly, I still think that like a lot of these people are misguided when they're thinking like, oh, coins. A lot of their opinions are misguided because they got told one thing, but they don't understand the full scope of it. Coin, who bought it?
Yeah.
Coin, who bought it 420? It's a $600 stock per Coinbase. Said the revenue climbed more than ninefold from a year earlier estimated 1.8 billion. I'm gonna have to do it, Millennial. I'm going to have to verify this. So this guy's claim was that their revenue from a year earlier to an estimated 1.8 billion spurred by a surge in the price of Bitcoin. Oh god, my fingers are gonna get tired scrolling down. Okay, so the net revenue, 1.8 billion, blah blah. So net revenue was about 1.1 billion. There's other revenue that they have, about 100 million, so a total of 1.2 billion. I don't know where he's getting the extra 0.6 billion, but I mean the year prior in 2019, they had about $500 million. So they are growing in revenue. That is without a doubt. But
yeah, I mean, again, the argument is how long is it going to take any other brokerage to go, yeah, okay, well, we're just going to offer different cryptocurrencies. Like their edge in the market, their moat is very quickly gone the second that a company decides, yeah, well, you can buy crypto off of TD or Questrade or E-Trade or Webull or whatever, right? Like you can buy your crypto directly off that. Okay, no problem. You've lost all edge.
I think that they also have like a misguided notion that because this is related to Bitcoin and everything, that they are they'll be tied to the price of Bitcoin and whatsoever, right? But for the most part, they're not like tied to the coin. They're not a miner. They're more tied to the transaction of Bitcoin. Like if the more transactions you do, the more money they make, because their business, like from what I understand, isn't primarily from the value, like them buying and holding Bitcoin. It's basically the amount of transactions you do, which is similar to what Citadel is. Like they make their money through people trading it.
Yeah, long term, people talking about this thing like, oh no, it's a long term investment. I don't see how they shore up dedicated community to this.
Yeah, no, I like look at the people that got involved in Bitcoin too, right? Like Square, for instance, PayPal. They're not buying and holding the coin. They're there to do the transactions because they see that there's money in the transactions, and that's their essentially that's their bread and butter. That's their whole like business model. Like we are the middleman escrow company that processes the transactions for you. And I don't know, like it just seems like everybody's just more so leaning into the aspect of this is going to be big because they're involved with the crypto world and it's tied to the price. It's like I mean, like as far as I can tell, PayPal never really changed too much of their what was it 3.25% and 30 cents on top of that.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I don't see anything here that is proprietary. And I'm not talking like Microsoft had the Zune, Apple had an iPod. I'm talking like there is nothing here. It's like some guy opening a gas station going, "This is a great idea. People can come here and fill up on gas." And then another gas station opens.
All right. Well, I'm done trying to like beat in coin. I feel like I've gotten the point across, but so the next one is AMC. God, this is the next top one. I think I'm only gonna do like 3, and then I'll probably call it because I don't really plan on streaming that long anyways. But
All right.
so the next one is AMC. So when I read this, and in my initial video, which if no one's seen it, you guys should go watch it. In my initial video, I said that AMC was losing revenue before COVID, and COVID only accelerated it.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm hearing a lot of people making arguments for AMC, like, oh no, the theater industry is going to recover. I'm not sold on that narrative.
Like, I know people didn't really watch the end of my video, but like my whole point in the thing was that I don't think it's going to recover because people aren't showing up to theaters. Like everybody seems to think that, and we had this discussion earlier about like how Kong versus Godzilla made 60 million on the box office weekend. I was like, okay, well, let's
What
just
else
take.
was in there? Like,
Yeah.
what were they competing against in the box office?
But here's the sad part about it though. Like if you like we had the discussion and you corrected me on this where they only get about 10-20% of that admission price, probably even less because of this thing went premium video on demand earlier, and that was basically kind of the problem because they're basically competing in a COVID type world, and they weren't making any revenue. Sorry, they were losing revenue before, and that people seem to think that all 60 million of that dollars goes directly to AMC. 10-20%. At 20% being generous, but it's a new blockbuster release. I'm only thinking that they've only got 10% of that. So 6 million in this. What's their valuation? Like a billion or something like that? Something close to a billion?
6 million, but that 6 million box office isn't just AMC, right? Box office is every theater chain out there. Some of that's Cineplex, some of that's Cinemark, some of that's some of these smaller rinky-dink neighborhood whatevers, right? It's total box office. AMC isn't seeing 10% of the entire thing.
Nope. I'm speaking strictly from North America, from their point of view, but I'm literally looking from their like previous year to now, and I think they had hang on, let me see if I can find it. But they had a comparison list to where if you bought into AMC or the competitors, like you would have like X amount in AMC and then X amount in like SPY and X amount in the competitors. But God, I should have saved the page. It's in that video, but if people are looking back at this, they can go check out the original video for it if I can't find it. But essentially what I was saying was that like, you know, if you put in money into AMC in 2016, you would have like, if you put in $100, you would have about 140 something like that after like a year or so. But yeah, I can't find it in this one. I can't remember what the filing was that I was looking at earlier. I have to look for that one again. But it said that in 2016, if you put in $100, by 2017, 2018, you'd walk away with $143. And, you know, you'd have like, you know, $120 with a SPY. Fast forward to today, you would have $10 in AMC, and you would have like $40-$60 with like, you know, Cinemark or one of their competitors, and you would have $220 with the SPY. Like, these are their words, and people got pissed with me about that. I'm like, okay. I mean, we also made the argument too, which Aaron when he did the debt, the clearing the debt off their books, giving Silver Lake their debt with they're paying out their debt with their shares.
Yeah.
That was a great move. That's what a CEO should do. I don't know why AMC didn't do that. I don't think they could have, but I don't think GME could have did that because like I don't know whatever reason they couldn't have. But like Aaron, I think was building a war chest for cash, and that's like I think he did quite well with it because Silver Lake walked out with what a 30% profit on their 500 million bond, 500 million loan or whatever, and yeah, if I was loaning you money and you're like, okay, so you're gonna give me 30% and you're gonna cash me out even earlier than what I expect to be paid in like the next couple of years, like hell yeah, I'll take that deal like hand over fist. That was one of the few cases where I think that the public market did save a company because the hype with GME stock pushed it up. However, their attendance and revenue, the revenue and attendance has gone down. Like it's not there. It's not where it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so yeah, even here. So here's the statement that one of the statements I read. Combination of theaters reopening restrictions and limited new film distributions has resulted in a significant lower box office industry box office for the 3 months ending September 30th, 2020, compared to the 3 months ended September 30th, 2019. In response to the current low attendance levels, the company has made adjustments to the theater's opening hours to align screen availability and associate theater opening costs with attendance levels for each theater. The company also introduced AMC private screenings, which I mentioned in my video, which allows moviegoers to reserve a separate AMC clean and safe auditorium for private screenings for up to 20 people, starting at $99 plus tax. I don't know about you, but like 20 people for $100, that's $5. But we in Canada pay like what at Cineplex, like $15. I think it's like $15 now. Let's just take that as a quick ballpark estimate. So 15 times 20. It's quite a lot more than just the $100 you get from the $100 private screenings. So, and coupled that,
but again, ticket prices isn't gonna get them there.
Yeah, but it's covering overhead.
Yeah, the math just doesn't add up. I took the family to see Crudes in theater a couple weeks back, and I was talking with the manager, and he goes, I am the only employee on the schedule right now, and that's all we can afford to employ right now, and we can't even really afford me. And that's like, damn. That's bad. That's bad.
God, they also took a PPP loan last I saw, but I don't know if it's in this filing or the one I previously read. God, I don't know. I still think that they're gonna see a quick boost because everybody's gonna be like, oh, we can go out again or whatever, right? But I think that people are just gonna lose interest. They're not gonna save it like they once did. Yeah, I still think that they're on their way out. It's just like a slow death. And oh god, this last one. I don't think you really did too much research into this one, but because you probably wouldn't have touched it. But SOS Limited.
Yeah, no, I didn't look at it.
So they are.
I've heard a lot of hype on it, but I mean, I hear a lot of joking that it should be called POS. So, yeah, my portfolio is full of enough memes as is. I don't need another one.
Oh, this is even worse. So some of the comments are saying, why is nobody talking about the facts that SOS has previous gen mining rigs? Riot has, so far in 2021, deployed 6,703 new Bitmain S19 Pro Antminers, which can produce 110 terahashes each second. for a total of 737 petahashes per second. SOS said once they have all their 1,500 unspecific miners installed, they would generate 177 petahashes per second. This means that the second-hand SOS miners are only producing 11.8 terahashes each second. So that's quite a significant drop compared to them. Which, if this guy is actually correct on his assertion, they are, like I said in my video, like they're late to the game. They're if they're buying inferior equipment too, that's even worse. Oh my god. So this dude just said bullish on your favorite website, Investors Place. The Investors Place article. SOS Limited can become a long-term crypto mining play. Let's see what they have to say. So in summary, SOS stock is investing heavily in its crypto mining business, which could potentially make it the biggest player in the sector. The post-SOS Limited can be a long-term crypto mining play appeared first on Investors Palace, blah, blah.
Well, I challenge that assertion right away. Because for them to catch up to guys like Mara and Riot that have already made the investment 4 months ago in new tech, new miners, right? We've got a semiconductor shortage. We've got graphic card shortages. How is SOS planning to overtake the big guys that are already out there? And that's just on North America, right? That's not counting the Russian and Chinese miners. That narrative that SOS could become the biggest, how?
They're even late in the Chinese market. Like China currently controls about 60% of all the world's mining. Last I checked, like a couple months ago, and for them to say that they're going to be the biggest, like, no, based on what? And one of the other comments I read when I made my video was like saying, SOS is applying for like a green hydro energy license from the Chinese government, and they're gonna basically be burning off the excess energy that they get from like this hydroelectric plant nearby. And I'm like, okay, cool. Do you have a citation for that source? Can we trust that this is actually official or real or stuff like that? Because when I dug through the SOS filing, it basically stonewalled me. Like they don't have to really declare too much. Like they file the 6K or the foreign issuer, but there's not a lot of information in there. There's not, like, if you compare it to like someone with an 8K, 10K or whatever like that, there's not enough information there. And the difficulty, and I wish Rita was here, but the difficulty I had when I tried to research this company in its own home country was that, according to what Carson Block said, was that if you're a Chinese company and you're listed on a North American exchange, you have to be listed on the Chinese exchange as well. So that's Shanghai or I think it was like Shenzhen was the other exchange. Either one of those.
I don't see that though.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I can find it.
Because Neo doesn't follow that rule.
And which
Neo's only on the US market, right?
Yeah, which led me to my other possible assertion was that there are multiple sort of like conglomerate type of stocks on the Shanghai and Shenzhen exchange. And what the government did was that I had to read this in some financial guy's article, but he was saying that the way that they do it is that, again, this is up for citation and up for confirmations. If someone wants to debunk me, go ahead. We can all learn something from it. But he said that the way they do it is basically they would take, because it's not untrue that China wants either a portion or majority control of their assets in China. And the way they do it is that once they get control of that, they throw it in one of these, like, sort of umbrella shell companies that they have that are publicly listed on their exchange, but it's owned by the government. Like the government owns it under the umbrella of, let's say China Home Builders or whatever, right? Like China, if China controlled Home Depot, for example, right? Like if they were if Home Depot was a Chinese stock and they got listed on the North American exchange, it wouldn't be called like Home Depot China or anything like that. It would be just like, China Home Builders, and anything that's under that building or under that roof would be like, let's say Lowe's, HD Source Supply, stuff like that. All of this under China, the China Home Builders, like little I guess you can call it an ETF, but it's not an ETF. It's more like a shell company. That's the way I was told it was structured, but it's really difficult to find information on that. It's even more difficult because if you go to any of the like known Chinese listed companies in China, like they're public about it. Like was it Venue or something like that, or Vanhu? I can't remember. Like V something, right? There was a Chinese bank down in China, one of the more popularly traded ones. I could not find their investor relation page. They don't have any of that stuff. They don't have any of the filings public. It is difficult to find it there. And the article I read also addressed this issue because he said that see, in China it's more of a cultural thing, and his claim was that, what he was told was that the reason why they don't have it there is because that information could be wrong, and they'd rather save face, and saving face is a big cultural thing in China, but like they'd rather save face and not lie about their numbers than actually post like potential fictitious numbers. And I'm just like, well, it sounds like a cover story, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime somebody says, "Oh, just trust China says," no, I just can't. I can't do it. It's not that I don't want to. I would really like to. I just can't.
God, one second.
Mic off. Mic on.
Okay, so yeah, those are basically three. The rest are like kind of these crypto tickers that I don't really care too much about. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna call it there. I just wanted to do a quick test run to see how many viewers I can get and stuff like that. I'm interested to see the metrics in this, but let's see.
It took a while. It took me about 2.5 months to see any kind of consistent growth on that. So now I get probably 80 to 90 by the end of the day.
Hey, I'm just surprised that I didn't have any of the mess ups that I see other streamers do. But hey, it's just I don't really do live streaming that often. Like the first time I tried the live stream, I had no audio or anything like that. I didn't even realize it. People came in to talk to me, and I would say stuff, but then they would not say anything and just leave, right? And I didn't know that my audio wasn't on, but yeah. Oh, we'll see. I don't know how to close this, but I don't know. Any ideas, Millennial?
No. See you next time.
All right. I'm just gonna use my classic catchphrase. Just remember, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you have to trade every single day. All right. Bye, everybody.